How to change your life. Changing your life can be both scary and exciting, but more than anything it's necessary to grow. Most people come to a point one day where they have to make a change in their life to grow personally or professionally. But it's hard to figure out when you're ready to make that change. So how do you know when it's time that you're ready to change your life? The truth is there is at least one sign that you have been ignoring or not even noticing. This video will take you through 7 signs proving that you are ready for change. 1. Motivation is gone. We all have something that makes us tick. An idea or goal that makes us wake up early even though we would love to sleep in late. A situation that makes us decline social events because our jobs need us to stay late. Or maybe it's the opposite and you take off work to attend social events to please the ones close to you. It comes from your motivation to succeed either personally or professionally. But once the situation changes, you can't seem to keep going and you will lose your motivation. If you suddenly can't find that drive you once had, then it can be a sign change is necessary. It can be that your needs or wants have changed. The important thing is that if you don't feel the same motivation any longer, then it's time to do something about it. We have been taught to keep going even when it gets tough. But it is okay to change and redefine yourself. It is not about giving up. It's about taking the time to reevaluate whether you still want the same things in life. Sometimes you may find out you still want the same thing, but the way you are going about it isn't working for you. It doesn't mean that you have failed. It simply means you are ready to refocus on what matters most. Find your passion and motivation to live a better life. 2. You are unhappy. We ignore unhappiness because it is normal to get depressed and feel down. It is normal, but if you feel unhappy every day and usually without even knowing exactly why, it is a sign you need change. A situation, job, or a relationship can be both nourishing and draining, but most often both. While we have to accept a struggle, we do not have to accept being unhappy. If you are unhappy consistently, then it's time to recognize it as a sign you should be doing something different. When it comes to your own happiness, it might have seemed appropriate before, but it's clearly not doing you any good now. You are definitely ready for a change. 3. People around you are changing. The grass is never greener on the other side of the street. And while you shouldn't compare yourself to the people around you, it is okay to take a peek every now and then. The people you surround yourself with are often a reflection of you. This by no means implies you should change your life if you are still feeling fulfilled and good about it. But, if you start noticing a change around you and it makes you rethink things, it is probably a sign that you are ready for change as well. 4. Boredom. A healthy life shouldn't be all fun and games. But if you are starting to feel bored on a daily basis, then it could be a sign. There is a difference between waking up and not knowing what to do, and waking up every day feeling bored. Maybe you don't feel challenged in your job any longer. Or your typical idea of fun is no longer giving you the enjoyment it once did. Take time to check with yourself. Are you just bored? Do you need something more in your life? We generally operate by habits and routines, making it tough to change them. It also makes us stay in bad situations longer than we should. It's always hard in the beginning, but you can do it. Take a leap of faith and change your life. 5. You're always stressed. Stress is probably one of the most common signs that you need change. But it can also be one of the signs that can be the hardest to react on. Because when you're stressed, you automatically feel anxious about making a change. Then your mind begins to fight against the idea of change. It can be hard to deal with stress. But thankfully there are many different and effective methods to deal with it. It often comes down to trying some different ways to deal with it and figuring out what works for you. But sometimes all you need to do is to figure out what is stressing you out. If the stress becomes an indicator, then you need to accept it and create a change in your life. Because you are obviously ready. 6. Fear. Every one of us lives with fears. We are afraid of losing someone, losing our jobs, making wrong decisions, losing our health, and ultimately just afraid of a lot of things because life is scary. The trick is to recognize whether fear drives you or brings you down. It is okay to be scared, but it is not okay to live in fear. If you're scared about a specific thing or just feel anxious on a daily basis, it is time to get a better understanding of where it comes from and see it as a sign to initiate change. When you are already scared, it can be tough to consider making a change. But know that you can choose to stay in this fearful state of mind or decide to work through it. 7. No stimulation in your life. We need stimulation in our lives because we will feel scared, stuck, stressed, and unhappy at times. If you can tell that you no longer have that stimulation in your life, then it's a sign that you are ready for a change. What drove you in the past or got your heart pounding before might not do the same for you anymore. You can get ahead of the feelings from your past and recognize this lack of stimulation as a sign you are ready for a change. Finally, all changes are hard and should not be taken lightly. Start viewing change as positive rather than a negative. Changing your life can be tough, but it will be well worth it. When you find the courage to make a change, then the negative feelings and emotions you are dealing with will disappear. Like, share, comment. Subscribe to Total Transformation channel.